As we've just finished talking about complex colours, it makes sense to move on and discuss neutrals, because in essence a neutral colour is a complex colour, generally up in the sort of brown spectrum, but in a much paler format. So whilst we may have resources such as this dark brown here to use for neutrals, so here's the dark brown just as it is, it's also worth looking at how we can make our own. So let's just look at the dark brown for a minute with print paste added to it. Mix that up and let's see what that gives us. So that is the dark brown dye with a significant amount of paste added to it. So you might have access to neutrals from our supplier, and I wouldn't be without dark brown for many reasons, and we're going to explore another one of those in a minute. But let's now just look at other types of neutrals. So, I don't know, maybe you want a sand colour. So we have to start by asking ourselves, what do we think the base colour of sand is? And I think it's a golden yellow, yeah? But it's not a pure golden yellow, it's a dirtied up one. So the complement of golden yellow is purple, so I'm going to put a tiny bit of my red brown in, which is essentially a purple colour. And that's already taken it to a sort of more saffron version of itself. Okay, so if we add print paste to that, we'll see what we get. And that for me is still a bit yellow, so I think we need a tiny bit more of the purple. Come on, baby, I know you're in there somewhere. And there may be too much red in this red brown. And this is, to me, looking still a bit orange. So complement of orange is blue. Where's my royal, my funny grainy royal? I'm going to put a tiny bit of that in and see if we can muddy that up. See how badly the royal's behaving. Gotta ring the manufacturer. Gotta ring the supplier. Ooh, now this is now very much looking as if we're heading into neutral territory. So I think we would all agree that's a neutral. And neutrals are called neutrals because they have no affinity necessarily with any particular colour, a bit like Switzerland, you know, they were neutral during the Second World War. So technically they can go almost with any colour. They can also have what I call chromatic undertones. So this we could, by adding a touch more yellow, shift slightly. And let's do that. Let's go for the acid this time round. See what we get there. Yeah, it's sparked it up, partly because I put a drop of the cold colour in, and it is making it a little bit more yellow. So you can, you know, people say how easy it is to create mud. You do have to combine all three complementaries, but as we've seen, it's a matter of proportion. And I always think that it's all very well, you can get these muddy colours just exactly when you don't want them. Sometimes it's trickier getting hold of them when you do want them. But as we've just seen there, really a neutral is not that hard to mix. So I'm going to leave it at that, But again, I do encourage you to experiment and perhaps build your own neutral colour chart if that's going to be something you feel you're going to be using a lot in your work. And what I'd like to do finally in the colour section is move on to explore grey, because a lot of people have expressed an interest in how to find a good neutral grey, a true grey.